Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Nike rocks my socks, being a real man like always. Bringing you some kick-assery gameplay here. I go 140 and 3 and 6. Can you give it up for me one time? 143 kills, 6 deaths. Who have you heard that does that? Probably every big YouTuber. But, you know, we'll forget about that for a minute because I'm just a small guy and I thought it was pretty awesome. But again, you know, every time I got a big game, I gotta shout out my boys and their big games. You know, Bebe with his 101, just sickening to think about, pisses me off. Just even have to acknowledging it. But you know, give him his glory where it's due. You know, and then Kelly, I think, went 103 and 1. You know, or 102, like the Dalmatians. I don't know. Get out of here. I make a lot of Disney references. I really do. But you know, you can't hate on Disney. I figure. I don't really figure that at all. I don't. That literally never went through my head one time, except for what I'm saying there right now. But more of the story today. Today. I actually want to talk about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart, Naruto. Because the latest chapters have been getting crazy, so if you haven't read it, then I suggest leaving right now. Not because I'm not awesome, but because it's just so awesome. I don't want to be the one to spoil it for you. Looking at you, Gabriel. But more of the story. Where do I begin? You know, where do you begin? Finally, Team 7 is reunited. It's a moment we've all been waiting for. We've all been waiting years for it. And that's a topic in itself. How long we've been waiting for this bad boy. Like, I came into the show when they were just finishing up, like, the final battles on Cartoon Network. You know, I remember sitting there and watching the last 5 or 6 Naruto versus Sasuke fights, and it was just like, oh my goodness, this thing is awesome. And so, I've really only had to wait till Shippuden. Well, they had a few episodes of Shippuden when I started too. I think the manga was at where Jiraiya died. Like after I watched Shippuden. I watched Shippuden all the way up to Hidan, and then my buddy was like, bro, Jiraiya fucking dies. And I was like, no way, where are you getting this information? Because all I knew was that the anime existed. I had no idea there was manga. I didn't even know what manga was. And when I did figure it out, I actually did spend like the first few weeks reading it left to right instead of right to left, and it was just, this story makes no sense. Like, it just, what? But, you know, since I watched the show, I was able to put it together because I'm a badass. But yeah, that was the most confusing thing forever. Forever it was. But, so yeah, I don't even know why I started talking about that. But, more of the story. I want to talk about Sasuke and his story development in Shippuden. I really love the shit out of Sasuke. You know, I mean, he's just awesome. In every single way you think of Sasuke, you're like, that's a badass. And then I think of me and I'm like, yo, I'm pretty much a badass. So you put 2 and 2 together and it's cohesive, you know. So I loved his story. You know, I loved how his brother killed the whole clan, and he wanted that revenge. I understood it. I felt it was misguided at times, but, you know, obviously he believed in it. And, you know, he took them to power, and I liked it. I liked when Sasuke went bad. I was like, oh, shit. I've never really watched a show where a good guy goes bad, really, and just becomes a badass. And he didn't just get bad. You know, he got fucking evil. He was down deep, dark. Like, just, he was a complete and utter darkness, and at that time I was going through dark shit in my life too, so I could relate, and I was like, yeah, I'm as dark as this motherfucker right here, man. We're a couple dark souls walking this dark path of dark and loneliness. And so, you know, I really love that development. And then the war, man. The war ruined it all for me. I never ever wanted a war in Naruto. I didn't believe it when Toby first said there was going to be war. I didn't believe it, because war is stupid, and lo and behold, war was the stupidest thing that could ever have happened. He had so much potential to show what I love the most about Naruto, which is the characters. He had so much potential to show so many characters doing so much shenanigery and just being complete and total badasses in war, and he did none of it. He gave Ina Shikacho their 2 fucking seconds of glory, because nobody gives a shit about Ina Shikacho. Shika's already had his moment to shine in Shippuden, and he was epic. And Choji's a fat fuck that nobody gives a fuck about. Oh, geez, watch, did you like that? I bounced it off my teammate's head. I almost blew it up. I do that all the time. And then Ino's Ino, a worthless character. And so you got one badass, super badass, I'd give him because I love Shikamaru. He's just a genius. And then two, just you wish they would have died in this war, and that's just another tangent on itself. Why would he kill Neji of all people? I've loved Neji since the first time I saw his face. Like I didn't even know what he did. I was like, I like that guy. That guy's a badass, and you know it. And lo and behold, he was the best character in the show. Oh my goodness! And so that pissed me off. He fucking kill him and not somebody worthless. And so yeah, that was great that they had their 2 moments to shine, but Neji had like 2 seconds, but it really wasn't Neji. It was the imposter posing as Neji, so it doesn't count. And then Kiba and Shino, they got like what 3 panels the entire war, and it was after, you know, they were rushing off to Naruto, and so he just had so much potential to do with that show. I mean, with the war, and he just didn't deliver on it. And Edo Tensei coming into it, I personally loved Edo Tensei, but I hated the fact that Sasuke ran into Itachi, because that for me that ruined it, man. I mean, he should have. Itachi told Naruto, he was like, "Yo, I've done my part. I put Sasuke on this path. It was wrong of me. I fucked up. But I trust you. You go handle your shit." And it was set up to be an epicness where Naruto would be the one to bring Sasuke out from the darkness, save his soul, and instead we get a dead Itachi and Hashirama changing his mind, and it's valid. After talking to his brother, it makes sense. I'm not disvalidating it, if that's a word. I'm just saying, from my standpoint, I would have liked to see Sasuke be the badass, be the final villain after the war's all said and done. But it gives me a chance to appreciate what I never thought about before, and what I know many people haven't thought about is what would happen if Sasuke teams up with the Rookie 9 now. Because what I was wanting in the war, when it showed Sasuke finally emerging, and it was like he walks the footsteps following shenanigan, destruction, carnage in his wake. I was just like, oh my goodness, he's going to show up on the fucking battlefield and fight all those ninja, and the Konoha 9's going to be there, and we're going to see what it would be like if it was Sasuke versus Konoha 9. But now we get to imagine if like what combination moves I could do. And look, I'm out of time. I just ramble. I'm Nike Rocks My Socks. We'll just talk about this later. Deuces.